Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Dodge Charger Daytona and its sales numbers. And they're a lot worse than what we all thought. A lot worse. Now, I originally had thought that they had probably sold about 5,000 units, and I thought that was going to be really low and everybody was going to be disappointed. But it's way worse, way worse. This thing is on like an epic failure when it comes to sales. And you know, there's a lot of reasons why. We're going to talk about that. But I did this article on Mopar Insiders. You can go on Mopar Insiders right now. It should be live, and you can read it more in depth. And you can hear the thunder. We're having really severe thunderstorms right now. But anyways, nonetheless, they are really bad numbers. So when you combine what they sold in the US and Canada, they only sold 2,115 units combined. 2,115 units for both the US and Canada. If we break it down for what the US sold, the US only sold 1,947 units. That is crazy. This is Dodge's Halo car. This is their new Halo car. It's nuts. You look at Canada, only 168 units were sold in Canada. Now, if you compare those numbers, compare them to the outgoing Dodge Charger and Challenger and what those models sold in the first quarter, it gets kind of crazy. So I broke it down here. Basically, in contrast to the last generation cars, like this includes 2022 and 2023. Keep in mind, these are just leftover cars. But if you go and look at the last generation Dodge Charger, the last generation Dodge Charger in the US and Canada sold a combined 1,103 units. It's not that bad considering that inventory is completely low. You look at the Challenger, they sold 945 combined between the two countries. So if you combine those numbers, the outgoing cars actually outsold the new Dodge Charger Daytona, which is crazy. If you look at a breakdown from what the US sold about 1,052 Chargers, and there was 922 Challengers sold in the first quarter here in the US. Canada sold 51 Dodge Chargers and 23 Challengers during that time as well. So why is the Charger Daytona selling so bad? There's a lot of reasons. The first reason is its launch. It was delayed, and we didn't start getting cars into dealerships, the 2024 cars in the dealerships, until the second week in 2025. And what was sad about that was there was a lot of issues going on with those cars, and continues to be a lot of issues going on with the 2025 cars. So this goes back to last March. Carlos Tavares, who was the CEO for Stellantis back then, who left in December, or was forced to resign in December, was on a cost-cutting spree. He went in March and actually fired most of the software engineers and the electrical engineers from Auburn Hills who are working on these programs. You would think that's pretty stupid when you got massive launches going on. You got the new Charger Daytona. You have the Wagoneer S. These are your first all-new electric vehicles for both Dodge and the Jeep brands. And then you have the new all-electric Ram 1500 Rev and the Ram Charger, the range-extending electric vehicle, going on. You would think, like, hey, we have all this new electrical architectures going on. We would keep those people in play. But no, it was a cost-cutting problem for him, so he went and fired 2% of the North American workforce, mostly the engineers. So what they did was they ended up taking engineers from India, Brazil, and Morocco and bringing them here to try to solve issues on the cars that they haven't been working on. Another thing was when they didn't have enough people to work on these cars and help, do software updates, they were bringing people in from like Belvedere that were laid off, as well as other places. So we've seen, people coming from all these other plants and that coming to help fix all these issues. So kind of crazy there. The second was when they launched the car, they had the media event, and the media event was terrible. They had all these cars with really low miles on them, and they just had a lot of issues. The media absolutely hates this car. The reason why is Dodge is known as the American performance brand. So when you look at this car, the purists for muscle cars hate it, okay? When you think muscle car, you think combustion engine, V8s. This car doesn't have one. So right there, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the one side hates it because it's an EV. The other side hate it because, hey, it's not EV enough. It's got bad range. If you look at the performance numbers, they're not that good compared to what's in that price class. And then you had all these people complain about issues on top of it. Then, to even make it even worse, the price. The price is a bit what has been killing it overall. If we look at the price of the Dodge Charger RT and what it starts out at in the US, it starts out at $59,595. Now, I had an actual argument with the guys or the people at Dodge, the communications department, because they were upset that I released the actual payment structure of the car beforehand, and I said that price isn't available. Because what happens is when you buy the RT, you automatically have to pay a premium for the standard stage 1 package. So none of those cars are $59,595. None of them. Okay? You also have destination charges, you have taxes, you have all this other stuff. So realistically, you're looking at probably a $66,000 Dodge Charger RT. Fast forward to the Scat Pack, we're looking at a standard price, what they say is $73,190. Keep in mind, you have to do the same thing. You have to add the Stage 2 performance package. That adds another was it $1,500 or so. And then you have all the extra fees and stuff. And then if you want to buy the Plus package because you want some actual equipment on the car, that's another $5,000, blah, 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 blah. We started seeing Scat Packs arrive, the cheaper Scat Packs, at about $80,000. If you want a fully loaded Scat Pack, you're looking at about $86,000, and that again doesn't include, your taxes, title, all that stuff. So, with 670 horsepower, you think, oh, that's pretty good, performance numbers for that price because they keep comparing it to the Hellcats. The problem is, if you look at EVs, first of all, you look at EVs and the prices are kind of crazy because Elon Musk is pretty much a genius when it comes to Tesla. And Tesla is pretty smart because they build all their stuff in-house. They build their motors, their batteries, everything's in-house. So they've been doing it for so long, they kind of control the market. And the weird thing is when the Dodge Charger Daytona was launched, Elon lowered the price of the Plaid. So if you look at the performance of the Plaid, it's crazy compared to the Dodge Charger Daytona. The first thing you're going to notice is the Charger Daytona has 670 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. The Plaid has over 1,000 horsepower. It's got 1,020 horsepower to be exact. Then you look at, 0 to 60 times, Plaid's 1.99 seconds. Charger Scat Pack, 3.3 seconds. You look at top speed, Plaid's 200 miles an hour. Charger Daytona limited to 137. Do you see where I'm going there? We talk about range. Plaid can do 348 miles on a full range, like a full charged battery. Charger Daytona, 241. When this car came out, Elon lowered the price of the Plaid and made it so if it's a cash purchase, you can buy a Plaid right now for $94,990. That's less than $10,000 more, and you're getting so much more performance. So people look at this, this actual Dodge Charger Daytona and just go, what the heck, man, this thing's overpriced. Look at the Model 3 performance. You can get one of those well equipped for $50,000, and it basically makes the same performance numbers. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, really crazy. Do you really want something that's $86,000 and you can go and buy something way cheaper and have better performance? No. Or do you want to spend $10,000 more and have a car that's very similar in size and we'll stop the heck out of it? So the Charger's pricing platform needs to be very, very altered. It needs to be lowered. And we've seen this with incentives. We've seen dealers that can't sell these cars have massive incentives. We've seen them online. It's like $13,000. Everybody's going, oh, $12,000, $13,000. Being here in Detroit, I have seen Dodge Charger Daytonas, because we have employee pricing and stuff here, for $15,000 off. $15,000 off. And then on top of it, dealers can't sell these things. What they've been doing is they've been actually making demo cars out of these cars that are sitting on lots, because then they can sell them as used and try to lower the price on them. One dealership near me has 6 cars on the lot, and 3 of them are demos. So yeah, it's a huge, huge thing that we see only 2,100 of these cars being sold. So there are tons of cars sitting on dealers' lots, and there's really good incentives out there, but they're still overpriced. It's just how it is. They're overpriced for what they are. Another thing that we learned this week. So Dodge is going full in on internal combustion right now. They've basically jumped forward. They're saying, hey, they're not done with EVs, but they're kind of putting them to the side right now. So with that being said, the focus now is on the new Charger 6-pack models. So there's going to be 2 of them at launch, and they start production next month in Windsor. Even with the tariffs, they start production next month. The first one is going to be the 4-door. It's going to have a standard output Hurricane engine in it, 420 horsepower. Should be pretty promising. The high output car is 2-door only. So again, only 2 models at launch. We might see, if depending on what, I would say depending on what the market is swinging towards, I'm pretty sure Dodge might say probably by the end of the year, well, we'll put the standard output in the coupe, or we'll put the high output in the 4-door. The thing is right now they want to get these cars into dealers ASAP because no one's buying electric. So they want dealers to have them. They want to get the cars in the hands of people so they can start getting positive, feedback, because people love the car. From what we've seen, people like the styling and stuff. They just don't like the EV powertrain and how much it costs. So by doing that, you're going to see cars starting to hit dealerships in late June. So by the early parts of the summer, we're going to have Dodge. You can go, let's put it this way. You can go into a Dodge dealership and actually buy an internal combustion powered Dodge Charger. So if you've been waiting for one of these cars, it's great. That's good news for you. You'll be able to get one by the summer. We don't know pricing yet. Both cars will have standard 8-speed automatic transmissions. There's no manual anymore, I'm sorry. And they will both be launched with standard all-wheel drive. We don't know if rear-wheel drive's coming anytime soon, but both cars will have all-wheel drive. Dodge has told us that you will be able to press a button and shut the all-wheel drive system off, so it will be a rear-wheel drive car. So that's huge news. But the biggest news is the fact that we showed you the 2026 Dodge Charger Daytona the other day on the website. We showed you the 4-door. And there's a lot of people who want that car. There's still a lot of people who still like the EV stuff and like the 4-door. Now, you'll be able to get a 4-door ICE model, but because there's so many leftover 2024 and 2025 cars still on lots, what we've been told by our sources, and Dodge has yet to confirm this, but I'm laying it out there, they will now make the 2026 Dodge Charger Daytona as basically an order-only basis car. So that means that they will not be shipping them to dealers just to fill in inventory gaps. If you want a 4-door or a 2-door 2026 Dodge Charger Daytona, they'll build you one, but you have to order it. And we don't know how long this is going to go in, but it's at least until the existing inventory is cleared. So that doesn't mean hey, there's 100 cars on lots nationally, we're not going to build any. No, as long as they get down to a number where they feel that it's feasible, they will start sending them out. But if you want one, you're going to have to order one. So that is a huge change. We're going to hear something from Dodge, what we're told, very, very soon about this, because, again, 2026 production starts, next month. But for those who want an electric 4-door, you're going to have to order it. And the reason why is they still have a ton of 2024s, 2025s, and they don't want to put 2026 Charger Daytonas on lots, and that just crushes the values of the 2024s and 2025s. It's gonna be devastating for those cars and devastating for the owners. So they want to get those cars sold that are on lots, and then they'll start, producing them to go sit in inventories. But you'll be able to order them officially. What we're hearing is the Daytona will come out, I think, a few weeks or maybe a month after the 6-pack orders start. So there's going to be some change going on. We're going to hear more about it very, very soon from Dodge, I would have been told. So huge news. Dodge is going a different way. For those who are wondering about the SRT Banshee, If you've seen my video 2 days ago, I talked about the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio and the Giulia Quadrifoglio, the next generation cars. Those were supposed to share the basically the same platform and same powertrain as the Dodge Charger Daytonas, the SRT Banshee ones to be exact. However, Alfa Romeo has basically confirmed that they aren't going to go forward with battery electric performance vehicles. So the new Quadrifolios that were the Stelvio was supposed to be the first one launched here in the Quadrifolio form. That will now be internal combustion. So they are going to go back to probably twin turbo power V6s. Huge news there, but according to what we've heard, Dodge will still be going forth with the SRT Banshee for now, but things could change. We are seeing tons of stuff going on at the company. Things are changing quick. Every week we hear something changes, something does this. They're having a ton of studies right now with different teams trying to figure out like marketing strategies and stuff like, hey, are we going to bring this product back? Are we not? Are we shuffling production? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. And as we get towards the summer, especially with the tariffs and stuff now, we're going to see even more changes because now things are really getting, spinning over there. So if you've been hoping for the SRT Banshee eventually to make it to market, according to what we hear, it's still on the table. So that's a plus for you guys. However, those who have been waiting or wanting to hear that there's going to be a Hemi car, what we heard is Dodge is putting all their both feet in for the SIXPACK cars. Once they're launched, then they will start development of Hemi cars. The only thing is, if you're waiting for a Hemi car, you're going to be waiting for a while because these Hemi cars probably won't be hitting the market or at least introduced until late 2026 at the earliest. So again, there's still engineering issues they have to go through and stuff like that. We've heard that supposedly it's a lot easier than what they originally thought. We were told that they're going to have to change the firewall, they got to change the front end of the car, they got to change the strut towers. We're hearing that that is not necessarily the case. That it's actually pretty easy to update these cars with V8s. The only thing is they have to do some, obviously, suspension changes, and they have to, do some workaround of what's under the hood and underneath the car. So it won't be as drastic as what we thought, but they will be able to do it supposedly, and they are going to start development of that car very, very soon after the SIXPACK models are launched. So there's a lot of things going on with the Charger Daytona, or not Charger Daytona, but just the Charger in general. Charger Daytona, because it's been so bad of a seller, it's going to be order-only basis going forward until inventories drop down. And yeah, just a lot of changes, but I originally thought 5,000 units, 2,115. That's it. So, who knows? But anyways, if you like the video, hit subscribe, hit like, make sure to check out Mopar Insiders. You want to read my full article about the car, you can go on there and read it. And I'll see you in the next video.